Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to do another review in our series of the Dungeons and Dragons 2024 feats. So we are doing 2 feats, but we're not really going to talk about the first feat very much because there wasn't really a change. We'll address it really quick, and then we're going to get into crafting and the crafter feat. So we're going to talk about how crafting rules work. We're going to talk about how all the tools work, and then we're going to talk about crafting. But first, let's talk about the chef feat. Here is the old chef feat from the legacy. See, it increased your constitution. You got proficiencies with cooking tools. Everybody got an extra D8 for a number of creatures equal to 4 plus your proficiency modifier. And after a long rest, everybody got a few temporary hit points. Didn't change at all. All they did is they took the bullet points away, and they gave each little ability a title. That's it. Done. Okay, so we're done with that. Not a big thing. I never was really a big fan. Let me go back to that real quick. I was never really a big fan of this. It is good for a couple of temporary hit points, which can be okay at lower levels, but once you get to higher levels, they're not that great. So, we're going to give this feat a C+. That's pretty much what you get. A bump to your constitution, you get some extra hit points on a short rest, and that's basically it. Okay, crafting. So how does because this is a new kind of mechanic. Crafting was kind of seat of your pants in 2014 Dungeons & Dragons, and they've put down some rules for crafting. Now, it's not crafting magic items. It's not really. It's crafting non-magical stuff. And the way it works is you get a tool. You have to have a tool. You have to have proficiency with the tool. Anyone that helps you must have proficiency with the tool. Raw materials, you have to have the raw materials. You need raw materials worth at least half of the cost. So, for example, they give this thing, if you want to make plate armor, you have to have at least 750 gold pieces worth of raw materials, which would be like leather straps and steel plates and rivets and things, because the cost of that item is 1,500 gold. And then time. Time is the big thing. To determine how many days it takes to make an item, divide its purchase cost, not the material cost, but the purchase cost, by 10. So they give this example of a heavy crossbow, which is worth 50 gold pieces. It takes 5 days. If an item requires multiple days, they don't need to be consecutive. And then characters can combine their efforts to shorten the crafting time. Divide the time needed to craft an item by the number of characters working on it. Normally, only one character can assist you, but there could be some exceptions. So you could take this crossbow and make it in 2.5 days instead of 5 days. They do have a section here for brewing potions of healing. Those are the basic potions of healing, which do 2d4 plus 2. And a character who has proficiency with the herbalism kit can create potions of healing. Doing so requires the use of that kit and 25, because they cost 50, 25 gold pieces of raw material over the course of 1 day. So that is an exception to the rules up here. So it looks like it takes 1 day to make a potion of healing. And I actually think that's a pretty good use of the herbalism kit. I do think the herbalism kit is one of the better kits that's there, because you can make these, and these could be the difference between life or death. And then they also have some rules here for scribing scrolls, which kind of were in 2014. They got some time, prerequisite arcana skill, and the calligrapher's supplies. And then there's some pretty hefty costs, like time to scribe a 9th level spell is 120 days and costs 50,000 gold pieces. That is massive. Okay, so these things did mention some tools. They did mention one, I guess it's a magic item, but it's not really a magic item, and that's Potion of Healing. And for the most part, it's non-magic stuff, but it mentions tools in here, so let's talk about those tools, because there's specific things that you can use for the tools. So they've got some abilities that come with each tool. They have a utilize action, I guess is what I would call it, utilize action. The entry list things you can do with the tool. And you can do one of these things each time you take an action. And then craft, so you can make certain things. Okay, and then here are the tools. There's alchemist supplies. You can identify a substance or you can start a fire. Requires intelligence. You can make acid. Now, acid costs 25 gold for something that does 2d6 damage with a saving throw. Alchemist fire costs 50 gold. And so that, and so on, you can make a component pouch, oil, paper, perfume. So, yeah, there's some things you can make, but these take a long time to make. We've got the brewer's supplies. Intelligence, you can detect a poison drink. That's probably pretty important. Or you can identify alcohol. This is probably one of the more important ones. You can make an antitoxin, which is a new thing. As a bonus action, it costs 50 gold. So as a bonus action, you can drink a vial of antitoxin to gain advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the poison condition for 1 hour. So that is a thing. Calligrapher's supplies, written texts with impressive flourishes that guard against forgery. And you can create ink and spell scrolls, carpentry tools, seal or pry a door or container open. That seems pretty impressive, their strength. And you can make some weapons and stuff. Cartographer's tools, you can draw a map. You can create a map. Cobbler's tools, you can modify footwear to give advantage on the wearer's next dexterity check. That's not acrobatics check, so that's not so bad. You can make climber's kits. Cook's utensils, improve flavor, detect spoiled or poisoned food, and you can make rations. Glass blower's tools, discern what glass object is 24 hours, glass bottle magnet, okay. Jeweler's tools, you can craft arcane foci and holy symbols. Leatherworking tools, you can make all kinds of leather stuff. Mason's tools, block and tackle. Painter's tools, comes in handy for looking at paintings, can make some certain kinds of foci. Potter's tools, smith's tools, can make a whole bunch of different stuff. Tinker's tools can be used. Now, this is a Matt Mercerism, and they move this over. You can make guns with this, in addition to, traps and things like that. You can assemble a tiny object composed of scrap, which falls apart in a minute. Okay. Weaver's tools. You can make some armors. Wood carver's tools. You can make some weapons and things. And then there's some other kits, like the disguise kits, the forgery kit, the gaming set, herbalism kit. This is the one that you need to make the potion of healing. And you can also make an antitoxin. Now, you can make an antitoxin with the brewer's tools as well, right there. But if you are proficient in herbalism, you can do both. And you can make a healer's kit. That's why I think the herbalism kit is the best one. Musical instruments, navigator's tools, poisoner's kit. You can make the basic poison, which does a whopping D4 damage and costs 100 gold pieces. That's super expensive. And then thieves' tools. Obviously, you need thieves' tools to be able to unlock. So what grade are we going to give the new crafting stuff? We'll give it a B-. It's not spectacular, but it's not bad. You can make potions of healing now. They put some actual rules down for making potions of healing. It looks like you can make them in a day, which is really good. What is the best tool out of this, or kit? I would say the herbalism kit is probably the best one outside of things that you have to have, like the thieves' tools and things like that. So finally, let's talk about the crafter feat, because this is one of the newer feats. It's an origin feat. And you gain, so there's no bump to any ability scores. That doesn't happen. So you gain proficiency with 3 different artisan tools of your choice from the fast crafting table. So you get 3 of these. Brewer's kit's not on here. Herbalism kit's not on here. So There's a few that are okay. Whenever you buy a non-magical item, you receive a 20% discount on it. So that could be okay for a while. That will wear out as you increase in level. That will no longer become super relevant because you're going to have more gold. It's relevant at earlier levels when you don't have as much money. And then you have fast crafting. So when you finish a long rest, you can craft one piece of gear from the fast crafting table, provided you have the artisan's tools associated with that item and have proficiency with these tools. Now, it doesn't say anything at all about raw materials, which I think is an oversight. The item lasts until you finish another long rest, at which point the item falls apart. So I think that's why they took the part out of not having to have raw materials. It's a temporary item, which means you can't just take it and sell it, because that would be the big thing, because people would take these things like ball bearings, tents. I think the highest value item in this list is worth 2 gold pieces. Like a tent is worth 2 gold. And there's a couple other in here that are worth like 2 gold. Some of these are worth like 5 silver. So make grappling hooks and sell them. Those are worth 2 gold. But they fall apart. So you would have that. You would wake up. You would make an item. And you would have that for the rest of the day until you did another long rest. And then it would fall apart. So you basically get a free item. Compared to some of the other origin feats like Lucky, I don't think this one is great, and I would give this one a D+. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about all the crafting and the crafting feat. So that is our video for today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.